Hey, Jennifer.
Meghna, good morning. Thank you so much for doing this. We are just huge
Oh,
fans
you're
of
breaking
everything
up.
that you do. I've never met you in person, but I've watched your TED Talk. I've read your CV. I mean, wow. And you have twin
Thanks.
boys. Well, and
I
they're not toddlers anymore. They're probably
No,
are they preteen at this point or
they are
teenagers?
13. Yeah, almost 13,
Wow.
eighth grade. Thank you so much. You are very kind.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, typically what I like to do is I like to introduce my guest, but with you, I'm not even going to introduce you because people will figure it out once you start talking. But I do want to list off some of the accolades and recognition that you've received because it's pretty darn impressive. So I'm just going to read three things and then I'll
Okay.
introduce the title and then we can go into the questions. So for those of
Okay.
you who do not know who Meghna Tare is, you will soon find out. She is one of the top 500 sustainability thought leaders in the world, voted by American Energy Society. That was in 2021. 2020, she won the award of Transformational Leader in Sustainability by Wells Fargo. 2018, she was one of the Women of the Decade in CSR by the Women Economic Forum. And right now, in this very moment, she is the Chief Sustainability Officer at University of Texas at Arlington, and she is the first ever that they've ever had. So she's a big deal, y'all. Um, so Meghna, you are an incredibly multi-talented, accomplished multi-hyphenate, and you are the first ever chief sustainability officer for UTA. What was it that attracted you to University of Texas at Arlington?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Jennifer. This is exciting to talk to people about, your passion and what drives you. So, I've been with UTA for almost 13 years now, and it has been a very exciting journey because working on a campus this size, with 60,000 students and 110 buildings, 420 acres, it's like working for a city. And, it gives a lot of joy. What drew me to UT Arlington was that they were just starting the sustainability program at that time. So, I had a blank slate and to start the programs and launch them and, kind of give birth to babies and see them grow. And that's what has happened in the last 13 years. And it is so much fun to work for UTA because I think sustainability at UT Arlington is a very top priority because it is sort of embedded in the strategic planning. Most academic institutions will always have sustainability as a part or a branch of facilities management, but UT Arlington is unique that, I get to work not only on operational sustainability, but, I get to work with students, faculty, staff on research projects, and also a little bit of collaboration with organizations that are outside my campus wall. And that, that gives a lot of sort of credibility to what you do, because I do believe that, sustainability is sort of a systems thinking way of life. It is not something um, that is a linear process like A plus B equals C. You really have to incorporate everything that you do to succeed. And UT Arlington actually gives me the flexibility to do that and have that impact, not just for my campus, but also for the community where we are.
And what's beautiful is the students are incredibly driven and passionate
Yeah.
about this. And like you said, Meghna, sometimes in other institutions, the sustainability effort is, yes, they're thinking about it, but
Yeah.
there's not a specific department, there's not a specific director for it. What
Right.
happens is it falls on, like the hospitality staff or the kitchen staff or and they're already doing so much, so that really sets UTA apart. So that is amazing, and we love
Yeah.
partnering with institutions and universities like yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I also think that millennials and, Gen Z, they actually do care about these things. They care about how green or sustainable a campus is. And it is more than just recycling. I think students now are very strong supporters of social impact and what is it that drives the change in the community. And, my job as an educator is also to educate them about these things and also train them because, I want them to succeed when they graduate outside of UTA. I want to see them carry that value to their workplace or place of employment where they can help shape the future of their company or their organization. And that
Yes.
is sort of a validation of what we do.
Oh my gosh, yes. And that's the best way to make a difference because if yes,
Yeah.
that structure is in place while they're at university. So then what happens when they leave university and go out
Right.
into the broader world? Great. but
Right.
you want to give them those tools that they can then implement and systematically implement. So, what initiatives do you want to highlight at UTA or in general that are supporting this effort?
Yeah, I think at UTA we have done a really good job with sustainability in operations, very good with recycling, transportation options that we have for students, like a car sharing program, which is really important to support the international students who come on campus, to study. Having that kind of infrastructure and support system kind of helps them settle down very easily. And then there are other programs like educating them about, climate change, reducing food waste through the composting program that we have on campus, the community garden that we have on campus. These are sort of the touch and feel programs that students really like to be part of. But then we have tons of programs to educate the staff, right? Office green team programs, water conservation, sustainable landscaping, where you kind of drive the strategy for UTA. But some of the other programs that I'm really proud of is in 2019, UTA launched a regional center of expertise for education on sustainable development, which is a program of the United Nations University based in Japan. And the idea is that you draw upon the learnings and the goals of the UN Sustainable Development Framework and use those to kind of have a positive change in your community for various SDGs. And so, using education as a tool because we are an academic institution. So I'm really proud of that program because, in the last 3 years, we have engaged with multiple stakeholders like Turn, for example, to kind of support the community on various programs and projects such as sustainable cities and communities on climate action, food insecurity, addressing the challenges of food system in North Texas through the Food Policy Alliance that we have launched. Some of those programs which have more community involvement are something, I'm really proud of at UTA.
That's amazing. And you said it best, when you see it and when you touch and feel, it becomes more than this
Yeah.
nebulous concept. Yeah, we know we want to save the environment, but how? And when you
How?
see
Right.
the steps, right? You see this happening, and then you see food being diverted that is still perfectly edible and usable to the food insecure. And then for those items that are no longer edible, it gets composted and it becomes part of this circle, that's just circle of sustainability, which is what ultimately we all want.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so what advice would you give someone specifically who wants to make an impact in their community and their place of business?
Yeah, I think, sustainability is such a broad term, right? Like you said, when you ask somebody, okay, what is the definition of sustainability? You will get different answers all the time. Just like when you ask people about climate change, right? Everybody has a different perception, a different thought process, and they are all shaped by their experiences. There's a phrase that goes that your actions are impacted by the five closest people that you are in, you have in your life, right? I think sustainability is the same. It's such a complex, multidisciplinary subject, and so the biggest challenge is how do you speak to the audience, which is, different at different times, so that you can convey the message in a way that resonates with them, but also get their buy-in, right? So for me, the complexity is kind of implementing strategy across operational departments, academics and research and students, and then the various stakeholders that I work with. So I think we continually have to question and challenge the business as usual thinking, because that's what stops most people from acting in the world of sustainability. And so applying that systems lens thinking is something that drives the change and also has the long-term vision of why is this important for your organization to work on, why is it worth your time and your effort. So having a clarity of that message really helps the community to be part of your mission and your vision. And I think it's important to communicate that very clearly.
So basically understand your audience, get to know what motivates them, and then custom make the
Right.
program or the system to where it makes sense and it is something that they can completely understand and implement.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's when you get their buy-in, and that's when you have kind of sold the idea to them in a way that means something to them.
Yeah, and if for a big corporation it means, points towards LEED certification, that's great.
Right.
Or if it's a restaurant, if it means less food waste,
Yeah.
that also means better budgeting for their,
Yep.
for their business. So there are many reasons to implement these sustainable actions, because in the long run, it not only feels good, not only is it the right thing for our planet, but there are tangible, there
Yeah,
are measurable deliverables that make sense. So
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So is there anything, I mean, there's so much we could talk about, Meghna, but I know I promised you only 15 minutes, and out of respect for time and attention span, we will wrap it up with this final question. Is there anything else that you want to discuss, or any words of hope or wisdom or
Yeah.
anything that you want to leave our viewers with?
Yeah, I just want to say, we are all coming off from a pandemic that changed the world, right? Having gone through the pandemic and the challenges that people face, not only in terms of, access to healthcare or access to food, or the challenges that we are facing in terms of drought or flooding. I think we have to adopt and adapt. And the realization that everything is interconnected, like in Lion King,
Yes.
so we have to realize that we have to be aware of it, we have to be conscious about it, and sustainability is something that will drive that change in a positive direction for the society.
Yeah, because it affects all of us, every
Yeah.
single one of us. Everything that the light touches, right?
Yeah.
To
Yes,
quote Lion
exactly.
King. It's still a great movie. Well,
Yeah.
Meghna, thank you so much. And what I'll do is I'll put all the links on how people can find you and just follow your journey and follow all the great things that you're doing. So thank you for your time. And I really appreciate you being an advocate for sustainability and for Turn, because we are such huge fans of yours.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.